Hi, it's Dwyer, GamblersAdvisory.com. Here to talk about the upcoming fight at super middleweight between champion Lucian Bute and challenger Edison Miranda. Then I'm also going to throw out some comments on the recent Wladimir Klitschko Eddie Chambers fight. I was very impressed with that fight. Let's talk footwork first in reference to Bute Miranda. If you're right-handed, Uh, just imagine that you're throwing a fastball. You're throwing a pitch or a ball as hard as you can, right? If you're standing up and if you look down, if you're serious about throwing the ball as hard as you can, you're going to notice that your left leg is in front of your right leg. In other words, to get leverage when throwing, you need to have the opposite leg out in front, right? Um, Now just imagine you're Lucian Bute and you realize that Edison Miranda only has one knockout punch, at least in my opinion, and that is a right hand, right? It's a straight right. Well, for Edison Miranda to throw that punch, he's going to have his left leg out in front of his right leg, right? If he's going to throw it from distance, in close, if he's right hand dominant, he can throw a right hook and he can have his feet together. But if he's going to hit you from distance, and you, of course, are the more mobile Lucian Bute, then Edison Miranda is going to have his left foot out in front of his right foot, right? That simple fact of life makes this fight, in my opinion, a fight for Bute. I'm picking Lucian Bute to win this fight. Look at Bute's eyes. He's a technician in the ring, and what that means is they're looking for cues like this. He can literally spend his time looking at Edison Miranda's feet. And if he's mobile enough to keep a reasonable distance from Edison Miranda, and Bute has skillfully done that in many fights, right? The Bika fight, the Andrade fight. If he's skillful enough to keep a distance away from Miranda and to keep Miranda moving, then he should be able to win the fight because he'll know that Miranda is only dangerous from distance when he has his left foot out in front of his right foot. I believe Miranda, even with new trainer Joe Goosen, is predominantly a one-hand fighter. He does throw a left jab, but keep in mind, you're not too worried about his left because he can take you out with his left hand. Let me also point out, too, that let's flip the coin. Miranda is vulnerable to getting hit with left hooks. We know that from a couple of fights. Miranda in the Alan Green fight, and Alan Green is the latest addition to Showtime's super middleweight tournament, right? In that Alan Green fight, which Miranda won, Miranda got rocked several times by Green's left hooks. In fact, I believe Green dropped Miranda at some point in that fight, and Miranda had to get off the canvas to win the fight. Green dropped Miranda with a left hook. Fast forward to the Arthur Abraham rematch. You're going to see that Arthur Abraham drops Edison Miranda with a left hook, right? Fans of Lucian Bute know that Lucian Bute has one of the best sneaky left hooks in the business. In fact, Bute is left-handed. He is a southpaw, and of course, he just recently dropped Libredo Andrade, who is very hard to stop. He recently dropped Andrade with a left hook. In other words, you have an opponent who's tailor-made for Lucian Bute. Um, Edison Miranda is open for left hooks. I believe that Bute could actually stop Miranda if he lands the right punch. Now let's talk about the risks involved. Make no mistake, as anyone who saw Edison Miranda in the Banks fight knows, Miranda has explosive punching power. Understand there is a risk in this fight because Miranda is a knockout puncher. I believe Bute, if he fights his fight, should win the fight. But for big money gamblers who have a lot of money out there and who need to have a plan B, If you're going to put a lot of money on Lucian Bute, my advice is to throw a little of a straddle on Miranda by knockout. I do not see how Edison Miranda could beat Lucian Bute by decision. In other words, I believe Bute wins this fight, but if you need to straddle it just to protect a lot of money, then you might want to have a little on Edison Miranda as well by KO, not by decision. Okay? Let's also talk about footwork for a second. I was very impressed with the end of the Wladimir Klitschko Eddie Chambers fight. Wladimir Klitschko's overhand right is one of the best, most devastating punches in the sport. He can take you out from distance, turn his hips, get that overhand right over the top on you, right? And he's a big guy. So that overhand right seems to come from halfway across the ring. What impressed me with the end of that fight is think about it. If you have, as I said before, your left foot in front of your right foot, right, you can throw that overhand right from distance. If you're extremely talented, you have another knockout punch. And Wladimir Klitschko is extremely talented. He ended that fight on a left hook. And keep in mind, he did so. There's knockout power, then there's one punch knockout power. Look at Eddie Chambers right before the knockout. He's completely coherent and literally Klitschko, a righty, knocks out Eddie Chambers cold. I mean, cold. Chambers is out when he hits the canvas, right? Doesn't pick up his gloves to stop his fall. He can't. He's unconscious. Wladimir Klitschko, a righty, knocks out Eddie Chambers cold with a left hook. Let me also point out, too, that Chambers was probably doing what I think Bute will do. He was looking at Klitschko's feet to figure out exactly what Klitschko was going to throw. He noticed Klitschko had his left foot far in front of his right foot. Of course, here's the problem. You can throw a pretty brutal left hook from that position as well. And so, what having more than one explosive punch does for you is it literally keeps the other guy off balance. In other words, Eddie Chambers could have been thinking, okay, Klitschko is going to come with his right hand and could have had that blocked and then, of course, been hit flush with a perfect left hook from Klitschko. And what I liked with the left hook, and it was really good, was this wasn't an up close left hook. In other words, Klitschko didn't have to be up close to get it off. No, Klitschko can actually get off a left hook from distance. And I'm sure we all have opinions. Mine is I don't see that often. So big kudos to the champ on both power and on execution. To beat Wladimir Klitschko, you're really going to have to be more mobile than Eddie Chambers was. You need to find a way to get by the jab. You're going to have to find a way to move Klitschko around the ring and get by his jab. And I'm just not sure if there's a fighter out there that I see, other than his brother, who I believe can get by the jab other ways by knocking down the jab. I'm just not sure if there's anybody that I see right now in the heavyweight picture who can do that. Let me also point out, too, I don't believe in a static order of who's better than who. I believe styles make fights. A fighter can be higher ranked and still lose to a lower ranked fighter if that fighter just has the key to his style. As I always tell people, Iran Barkley beat the great Thomas the Hitman Hearns twice in his career, and certainly Hearns is a boxing Hall of Famer. Iran Barkley was viewed as a not quite at that level fighter. Let me know what you think. I'm taking Bute over Edison Miranda. I think Bute is underrated. I think he's mobile. I think he has power. I think he throws a nasty left hook. And I think he's a very slick southpaw. I think he's too slick for Edison Miranda, a predominantly right-handed fighter. Let me know your thoughts. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. And as I always say, if I'm wrong, punish me in the ratings here on YouTube. But if I'm right, give me 5 stars. Thanks for watching.